And now, from Glasgow.
So hi guys, welcome to issue 124. Now if you did watch last week's video, everything that I'm laying out on the table now looks extremely familiar. You will see that I've also got the finished product from issue 123. This is the left curtain tarpaulin. Obviously we're working on the right side. Now the reason I have last week's curtain side out is obviously when I'm building stuff, I'm thinking, what can I do to make it right? What happens if it goes wrong? The first question that popped up in my head is, what if you accidentally got this wrong and you put this on the right side instead of the left side? So I've got this out, and at the end of the build we'll do an absolute comparison and we'll see if they are different. So I'll flick through this because you've seen it before. So we have the tarpaulin for the right hand side of the trailer. Lovely piece, really nice. I'm liking this. It has these creases in, which I'm a little bit disappointed it has creases, and they tell us do not fold it, which is exactly what they've done, but I think it will be okay. We have got you know, I've just put my knife down and I can't find it, so I'm going to have to use my not so safe knife. So we have got 17 of these webbing fastenings, which I'm just going to put to one side because we don't need them straight away. 17 internal fixings, so that's to fix the webbing straps to the back of this. I'm going to keep those in the bag because they're small and rollable. We then have we have rods for the end of the tarpaulin. Now last week and this week we also received this piece of tape. There's no mention of it in the magazine and we didn't use it, so I would recommend we keep that, and I will keep last week's piece as well, which is here. So what I'm going to do, I actually have a little hobby drawer which I use for my spare parts. I have a nice little drawer labelled Eddie Stobart, so I will pop those in there. I know we're not going to use it, but you know, I always ask the question, if we don't need it, why have they given it to us? So obviously I do want to keep hold of that. So 2 rods, and one thing I noticed at this stage that I didn't notice in the last magazine until we reached that, is they have these little ground away edges, so they've got a little flat spot, just like before. And then lastly we have got bottom clips and top clips for the rear and the front rod. Now I'm just going to put them down there. I'm not going to bother sorting them out because when we get to stage 1 it explains very clearly which rod we want to use, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a rod. By coincidence I've picked the correct one up. So this rod has a hole on this side, a peg on the other, and it's going to hook that way. Okay, and then you'll see that that hole in there is shaped. That will coincide with the flat end there, and we push that onto there, and it's very hard to push it on all the way. So I'm just going to cheat, and I'm going to use the table just for a little bit of leverage, and if we push very carefully we shouldn't damage that. It is a really tight fit, But a tight fit is really, really good, because if it's difficult to get on, it's then even more difficult to get off. The last thing we want is for this to just be falling off once it's in the tarpaulin. Right, guys, so once we've got our end on, we can now sort these pieces, and I can see that we have 2 of one and 1 of the other. That means that when we do the bottom, it has to be this one, because we have 2 of them. Okay, so I'm going to move those right to one side, because I can see those being knocked. So as before, as last week, we want to take this little hole at the top there, like so, and we want to thread our rod through. Now it won't go all the way through, and it's not designed to. So what we need to do is just bunch some of this tarpaulin up until the end pokes out through the bottom. You do have to bunch it up, and then we take our other clip, the one that we have 2 of, and we are going to place that over that end, like so. And that really doesn't want to go in. It's really good that it doesn't want to go in, because like I say, if it's difficult to get on, it's not going to fall off by itself. Okay, and I'll just give that a gentle push on. Right, so what we now want to do is, now I used a cocktail stick, and I think it worked rather well. I'll get a big zoom in. Okay, so what we want to do is work that clip down. There's a little hole in the tarpaulin there. We want to work it down. Notice we've got this bunched up. That's why it's too long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my cocktail stick all the way down past that hole, and I'm just going to, oh, that didn't work, did it? And I'm just going to roll that around. Now, I said to just work it around in the last video. Use that to get it actually in. This is a lot more difficult than last week's for some reason. I think I've got a little split at the top, or they've sewn it different. I don't know. I think they've sewn it slightly different, which means mine's going to be really difficult to get in. So what we want to do is just pull that, work that in, like so. Yeah, I think the gap that they've sewn in is a lot smaller than last time. It actually is. Yes, so they've given me about a 2 mil smaller gap than last time. It means that once it's in, it's going to look so much neater. But it's just getting it in that's going to be the problem. I've almost got it in. There we go. Is that in? And I've just discovered an even easier way to get it in, which is to roll it from the bottom, twist it. You know what, guys, I don't even know if this is going to go in. Once it's in, wow. So by giving us a slightly less gap, it's made it so much harder. And now I've pulled the clip off. Do you know what, guys? I've just found an easier way to do this. So look, don't push it all the way through. Let's bend that down a bit. Then I'm going to put the clip on. I don't think that is on right. I can't believe I've just discovered that. I can't believe they never thought of it. The only thing is, this little peg, it does want to go slip underneath the tarpaulin, but there's just not the space in there. So I'm going to just get my cocktail stick, and I'm just going to work that. There we go, guys. Look, that was much easier. That was so much easier. Right, so I'm going to do this second rod my way. The way that I've just discovered how to do it. So we take our second rod, we take the clip at the top, I'm calling it a clip, and what we're hoping to end up with is there we go. So we want this to hook that way, as you can see there. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to thread that in through the top of the tarpaulin. As you can see, that's the top. So instead of bunching this up like it says to do you know what, I'm going to do this, I don't know. So I can bunch that through, but look, instead of poking that through the end there, let's try and work that through that hole. Bend that back a little bit, so we've got the rod poking through that hole. Then we're going to put this end on, as per the instructions. Oops. Oh, I thought the carpet monsters had got that one. There we go. If it's not quite on, it's not going to go. It has to be quite exact. And like I said before, you probably won't need super glue, but that option does exist. There we go. That's in. Right, so once that's in, if I insert a cocktail stick or something from the other end, and then what I'm going to do is just kind of thread that over. I don't know if it's going to work on this one. I have a feeling that the other side was actually damaged, and that's why it didn't go properly. Yeah, and this one is cut to the exact size. There we go. So I'm just going to, little bit like sewing, I suppose, or knitting. We're kind of knitting this in place. Now, you might be thinking, why not use something metal? But I quite like using a metal wooden cocktail stick. Right, so that is in place, and that I'm rather happy with. So this is the point where I can say, are these identical? And I can now see they are not identical. So the left is definitely a left. Like you can see, there's the front of one, there's the front of the other, and they go the opposite ways. So they are most definitely not identical. In fact, actually, I think this is the rear. This is the rear, isn't it? Let me... Right, so this is the bit I've just sort of realised. This is the left, so that makes this the front because it's going on that side. Now, this is actually the rear of the cab, because if it's going on the right hand side, it's actually going on like that, isn't it? Because you read it from this way. So when we're doing a comparison, we actually want to compare them this way. And now I can see these are the same. So my hypothesis is, guys, it doesn't matter if you get them, if you get the left on the right and the right on the left, because remember, this goes kind of backwards on one side. If you're seeing the truck from the left, you're reading it from the front to the back. But if you're looking at the truck from the right hand side, you're reading it from the rear of the truck forwards. So anyway, I've just waffled on there. I will still mark this as left and right, but I don't think it matters if you get the left and the right the wrong way round. Right, guys, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish these clips off. Now, to recap, I don't want to do it all again because you've seen it all last week, but I will do it speeded up. So we have a small hole there. We poke this through the hole, and then we get one of these clips, and you will see there is, it looks like there's a little bit of flash, but you see there's three little extensions. We want to place this end in the peg, and then let me actually show you. So we have the tie down strap that goes in through the hole like that. You'll see there's a black peg coming from the other side. We're looking for those three marks, so we're doing it mark side up, and then we push, and that's held in place. Right, guys, so I'm going to do the rest of it speeded up. What do you reckon? 10 times speed, and I'll see you in, I'm going to guess, in about 1.5 minutes. Okay, there we go, guys. I don't know how long that actually took. I didn't keep an eye on it, and obviously with it being speeded up, I don't know how long it actually took. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know. Right, so one thing interesting that I found is that in 2 issues, right, let me rephrase that. Let me start that one again. I often get disappointed when we do an issue and I'm not actually picking up a screwdriver and actually doing something. I like to actually do something. I have not touched a screwdriver in 2 issues, yet these are extremely enjoyable issues. I have really enjoyed them. It ticks all the boxes. It's quite technical. We end up with a large piece. We're actually doing something, and it really, once these are on, we know that this will really enhance the truck. It really ticks all the boxes. The only box it doesn't tick is, I know some of you guys like flashing bells and whistles and lights and things. It obviously is nothing electronic on it, but visually I think this has made it really, really nice. And do you know what, look, we've got a big old advert for Eddie Stobart. Has anyone noticed that? I know that's not their number now, because I know since this would have come out, I know that telephone numbers had an extra digit. Then obviously they've got an area code. Then they've added a 1 in. So I remember my auntie's telephone number. It used to be 37880. Then that changed to 437880. And then obviously she had an area code of 0603, which was a Norwich code. And then that changed to 01603. So yeah, it just changed from 5 digits to 11. Obviously you've always got that area code, but in those days you didn't know anybody outside of your town, so you never really bothered with area codes. Anyway, I waffle as always. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you like big builds and you cannot lie, you will not enjoy next issue quite so much. Next week is going to be the top rear side rails, an extremely important part of the build, and that's the way it goes, I'm afraid. Sometimes you get terrific issues, sometimes you get not quite so terrific. I won't say boring issues, because I don't think there's an issue of the Eddie Stobart that I did not enjoy, but obviously I enjoyed some more than others. So yeah, and I think the next 2 weeks are going to be fairly similar. So this is my issue 124. I'm not going to label this one because I think you can actually put the wrong side on and it'll still work. And secondly, I've labelled the left side. So by process of elimination, this has to be the right side. So I'm now going to store these somewhere nice, somewhere that keeps them safe, and most importantly, somewhere where 2 young cats can't get hold of them and destroy them, because this feels like something a cat would be extremely interested in. So not mentioning any name spirit, I need to keep it safe. So I hope you have a lovely week, and as I say, I will catch you next week when we will begin work on the issue 125, the top front right side rails. So take care, guys. Bye bye.